Diamond.
Souls.
Love.
How's everybody doing today? Today we're going to talk about rule number 2. What's rule number 2, Travis?
Allowing your past to be your map.
All right, kind of explain that a little bit for people who don't quite catch the concept.
Your past. All the mistakes that you made, situations and circumstances that you've been through, events that had a profound effect on your life today. And especially the mistakes, making sure that we treat mistakes as a blessing and a lesson, learning from them, that as adults, we're going through similar situations, so we don't repeat those similar situations.
Yeah, I think it's very important to understand that everybody makes mistakes in their past. A lot of people beat themselves up about things that they've done or, certain situations that they've been in before. But if you look at those things as a blessing and a lesson, then you can better know how to handle these situations in the future.
Because your future, you're writing today. Because you're going to look up a year or two from now, and what you're doing today will be your past.
Yeah, you don't have to be that person that some people or maybe even yourself paint yourself as. You can be completely different starting today. You can start today, start to incrementally change your life, start to learn how to solve these issues and these problems that you've seen before, because as a human being, we constantly need to be growing and evolving and not be lumped into this characterization of who we used to be.
And your landmarks, the events, the situations, let them guide you, because you can sure enough learn from them, and they become a blessing.
And you also got to think of it like that too, because without everything that's happened to you in your past, you would not be who you are today. And every good, bad, every event that happened in your past has led you to exactly where you are watching this video right now. So think about mistakes as gold. Anything that you've done in your past is a gold learning experience. And honestly, not only can you help yourself in the future by knowing the knowledge that you've gained from your past, but you can help others.
And, I was just sitting here thinking, I'll tell you this little story about something that happened when I was a kid. 7 years old. I don't think, my view on children today, they're all good to me. No kid is bad. It's the way we adults teach them. But I was a bad child. I was, I hate to say this, but I was suspended from school. And I had to go to work with my dad, and my dad was a janitor at this church which had a school up there. And I ended up taking out of the music director's desk like $10,000 worth of traveler's checks. I had no clue what they was. It looked like Monopoly money to me. But I did that. That's something in my past and something that I remember. I took something and I suffered consequences from it. And the consequences was the principal of that school suggested to my father that they send me to what is called the Boys Ranch, the Alabama Sheriff's Boys Ranch. And that's exactly what happened to me because of something that I did in my past. And that forever changed my life. Right now for the good, because I ended up going to the Boys Ranch, getting fostered, and getting taught a bunch of good values and morals and beliefs while I was there. And it profoundly changed my life for the good.
So that is the blessing side of it, because sometimes things that you do bad can lead to something good. Sometimes something that you might have seen as bad in your past has actually led to something good, even if you can't directly see it or connect the dots. Sometimes, something changes something that changes something, and eventually, you're led right here to where you're at. And without that stupid mistake you may have made 15 years ago, you wouldn't be here.
35. But, I was just sitting here. Another story, a sad one is the fact that my dad used to physically abuse my mom in front of me and my sister. In return, my mom physically abused me I don't recall her physically abusing my sister, but she had a grudge against me, mainly because my father favored me as far as the kids. I was his boy. I can count on one hand how many times he whooped me, but when he did, he got a hold of me. But what that did is the fact that I always grew up knowing not to hit women. Now I'm not physically abusive to women. I have been verbally abusive to women in my past, and I'm changing that today because I don't want to be that type of person, that type of man towards any woman. I struggled with it in my teens, in my early 20s. I finally grew up in my 30s, and it's just an experience that I went through, how your past can dictate your future. Because I could have easily followed in my dad's footsteps and took it out on the few women that I've been with
and
or had a relationship with.
And family ties would normally say that that's something that you would do, but not only can you learn from your past, but you can learn from the past of other people. And that was a beautiful example of a lesson that you've learned from your past. And you've applied into your life now where you would never do anything like what you saw as a child now to anybody.
Right. Right.
So these things, even though at the moment back in time, there were horrible, tragic events, today they're valuable, they're gold because you were taking from that and you were learning from that and you were growing as a person from that experience. And I think it's a beautiful thing, man.
Right. Coming from a piece of coal
to a diamond soul. All right, guys, we're going to leave you guys with that. Just one more thing I actually wanted to say.
Go ahead.
So with these Diamond Soul episodes, we would like to also kind of have, I guess, daily practices to kind of help implement these rules into your life. I would say the best advice I could give you from personal experience of mine is that anytime you make a mistake in life, don't see it as the end of the world. Just consciously in your mind, start figuring out how you can make that thing better and how you could resolve maybe doing it again in the future, because I think these tools are very useful. And if you look at it and actually appreciate it when it happens, you underestimate how much you can grow from an experience like that.
Yeah, it's always something good in a bad situation.
And with that, we're going to leave you guys. Till next Sunday,
Diamond
souls.
Love.